Hello everybody, it's Kimberly George. I am Kim Likes to Color on Instagram and also Snickerdoodling LLC, the artist behind these lighthearted mandala books. And I wanted to hop on here real quick today to talk to you about what people call Amazon paper. And what is Amazon paper? So Amazon paper is the paper that the Amazon printing press uses to print coloring books like mine for artists that are self-published on the Amazon platform. There's a lot of misunderstanding about this paper out there, so I thought I could hop on and clarify a few things for people, educate you a little bit, and maybe show you how I'm able to color successfully on this paper. So I think a lot of the misconception is that people think that we, the self-published artists, choose this paper, and we choose a cheap paper because it is a cheaper paper. We don't. So when somebody is in the publishing process on Amazon, it's their KDP platform, Kindle Direct Publishing platform. You're offered two choices for paper, and it's standard or premium. Standard paper is what you see here in my book. It feels a little heavier than copy paper. Premium paper is thicker, and you might think of that paper as the kind of paper you might print photographs for a coffee table book on, things like that. So really that's it. So those are our only two choices. We don't get to choose really nice, thick artist quality paper. And so I just wanted to kind of help people understand that. So I do see a lot of comments in social media forums or even out on Amazon directly when I'm looking at coloring books to purchase where people give a bad review because they don't like the paper. And it makes me kind of sad because the artist doesn't have the choice in the paper. It's really Amazon's choice, and I'm sure it's to keep their printing costs low. So I just wanted to kind of explain that, and that you should probably, hopefully today I can change your mind about the paper, and maybe you'll consider giving it a different or a second chance. Sorry. My stepdaughter would say I can't English today. So let's hop right into it. So Amazon paper, like I said, it's thin. It's actually 50-pound paper. So to compare that, standard copy paper is 20-pound, and then premium cardstock, which I have a piece of here. These are both examples of 80-pound paper. So this is your premium cardstock. This is more of what I think of as I think when I bought this pack, it was a presentation style cardstock. So if you're in an office and you're printing out your PowerPoint decks or something fancy, you print on this. And then this here is Spring Hill vellum. I have to look at it. It's a vellum not cardstock, but it's an 80-pound vellum paper. And it's got more texture to it. This is really nice if you color with colored pencils. It's not quite a watercolor paper, but it's got some nicer tooth to it. Something like you can see this looks a little slicker. This doesn't have any tooth on it. This paper will burnish quicker with your pencils than a paper like this with more texture where you can get more layers with your colored pencils. I will tell you that if I just sit here and feel the paper, the Amazon paper has more of a texture than a cardstock. So that's nice if you're using colored pencils. What isn't nice if you're using this is with markers is the bleed through. So that's the biggest complaint I see is bleed through. It's going to bleed through. What do I do? So let's take a look at some things. I think the other thing too is that we've been spoiled with books like these. Color It, right? I absolutely love the Color It brand. Their paper is all 80-pound cardstock. You can see here I used gel pens, sparkly gel pens on this one, and there's really no bleed through. But all of their paper is really nice. It's spiral bound. So we get spoiled with a book like that. Also, who doesn't love a good Hannah book, right? So this, you can see my test page here, but these books are really nice. They've got that very heavy paper texture, but again, there's not a lot of tooth to that. But it's because it's heavy, it's, printed on both sides. You are able to do more with it, I think. Another of our favorite artists, Johanna Basford, I call her J Bass, like J-Lo, J Bass. But her book, same thing. It's this nice, creamy, dreamy cardstock that we all love. And here's like one page I did recently, but you can see how nice the pencils blend together on this kind of paper. And then one more example I'll give you is Kirby, the Kirby paper. So Kirby's paper is a little wider, but it's also that nice cardstock. So I would say these are probably all in the same 80-pound range. But again, it's slick, no texture. So what I wanted to do today, I'm going to show you with one of my, and I've got some proof books here that I can beat up on. And this, by the way, if you are an author, when you get a sample of your book before it's actually published, you'll get this little band that says not for resale. It's your proof book. So I marked a couple of pages. I thought what we could do is start out with some colored pencils. Just let me, hang on for just a second, guys. Put the binding back here. Oh wait, actually one thing I forgot to tell you. I was going to show you, how do you know when you're buying a book that is Amazon paper? And if I get my iPad out here, and I hope that there's not too much glare from my light, if you scroll down and you're looking at the book details, and you get to the bottom here where it says product details, and let me scoot this over here. See this? Independently published. That is your key. That means it's published on the Amazon platform. You will also see one called CreateSpace. CreateSpace was another independent platform that Amazon acquired. So either CreateSpace or independently published here will tell you, aha, this is Amazon paper. So hopefully that helps. Oh, and then the other thing too, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump here. I wanted to show y'all some examples. So here are some pages I've colored recently in my book with Amazon paper. Oops, you can see that. But this is colored pencil, but you can see how nice it turned out, and it blended just fine. Here I used markers. These are my Copic markers. They're alcohol-based. And again, so you can see the bleed through. You'll definitely get the bleed through. And sometimes it's fun to look at the pattern that your markers create on the back of the page. And then back here, here's the page I just finished and posted yesterday. But again, colored pencil. So you can get a nice blended color on this paper. The other thing that you can see too, and I'm telling you, I test colors everywhere. If you see this back here, made in the USA, or yours might say made in the UK, made in Canada, this right here will be the location of the Amazon printing press that printed this book. So Coppell, Texas, that's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area here where I am. And all of my books that I get printed on Amazon from other artists will all say Coppell, Texas. So I wanted to show you some more examples. So here is, if you know Julianne Colors, her books are super cute. So I have this page torn out, but this was marker that I've colored in her page, in her book. And again, you'll see Coppell, Texas. And then I have a couple of books from the wonderful Nicola Lehman. And you can see here that this is in marker. This is done in marker, all marker. And you can see the bleed through. But again, I still got a beautiful result. I would have gotten the same result on cardstock. And it's really just understanding and knowing how to play with the colors. And then let me show you one more example. Oops, actually two. This is another one of Nicola's books. And this is one of the first pages I did from her books. And this is all Prismacolor Premier pencils. So again, you can see you can get a beautiful blended result on this paper. And one final one, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember the artist for this book, but this was a book that was sent to me to test color in. And again, it's Amazon paper. This artist actually chose to put a black backing on the paper, which isn't my preference, but you can see how it kind of comes through. But again, Prismacolor pencils. You can see the beautiful blended colors that you can still get on this paper. All right, so how do you do that, Kim? Let's go. So what I'm gonna do, I've got a whole bunch of markers and pencils. So I wanted to start out with colored pencils on this page. And this is a page out of Lighthearted Mandalas Volume 2. And I'm gonna start out with my favorite Prismas here and show you how I do this. What I'm gonna do is color this outside border here. Maybe I can like zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this a little better. Okay, so here, I always start out with the lightest color. But, you know, I'm just laying down the color gently. And now this is a light color, so it's not going to show up very well. But I can see white through the Amazon paper here. And you'll start to see it more like when I color here. You can still see some white coming through, right? You see that? You see the little white speckles? Let me zoom in. Okay, make sure that's focused. And then here, again, going a little darker with this next color. But you can see the white coming through. That's the texture on the paper that you're seeing. And so this is not, a lot of people might just stop there, which is fine. That's still very pretty. But for me to get that really nice blended texture, I go back and I start and I go back dark. And now as I'm putting down another layer, I'm pushing down a little harder. And as you push down a little harder, it's going to flatten out that texture. You can see I'm not being really neat and being in the lines here. Anyway, so you can see now how that white's going away, right? And it's just putting a little more pressure down. If you see a white space, go back and just dig into it. You can even make that noise if you want to. Feel free to make your own noise, a different one. Okay, so here, sorry guys. If you watch my last video, you'll know that I'm not a really neat colorist here. Okay. So now you can see, and it's really, where the magic happens with your colored pencils and blending is when you overlap and go over. And you get that nice little blend there. And even if and it's usually when you take the lighter color over the darker color. So you can see here, let me get out my little brush. That's a nice smooth texture. And again, all it took is just pushing down a little bit harder than you normally would. It's not perfect. It's not going to be the same, you know, and you can put down as many layers as you want to. With these Prismas, they are wax based. So if you put down too many layers, you'll start to see a white layer. That's the wax. They call that the wax bloom. That means you've just kind of overcolored it at that point. Anyway, okay, so that's Prismas. So let's look at polychromos. So these are the 3 colors I'm using. Oh, let's see. I've got, it's hard to tell with this gold, cobalt green, light cobalt turquoise, and cobalt turquoise. So I'm trying to stick to the sort of same color families for you guys. This won't match perfectly, but what's nice about polychromos is they are oil-based pencils. And I will tell you, are a little bit nicer with the Amazon paper than the Prismas. They, for some reason, you can see how already it just sort of comes on the paper. When you lay down the color, it's a little creamier. It's easier to blend on this paper. And I think it's just the oil-based pencils in general that play better with this paper. And Nicola actually introduced me to that fact. And when I got my polychromos, I was able to validate that, yeah, she's right. Not that I doubted you. So anyway, yeah, so here, same thing. Now you can still see the white showing through, so I'm just going back. And again, I'm not being real neat here, just trying to, for the sake of the video, show you a few things. And then I'm gonna go back to the next color, and you can see I'm blending over the darker color, which gives you that nice blend. But again, you can see I'm flattening the texture of the paper, and it's creating a nice, pretty blend on this Amazon paper. Okay. Actually, wow, that's pretty close. I just need a lighter blue. Okay, so that is polychromos. So I would say if you have a choice between wax and oil pencils, and you don't have to use expensive pencils, guys, but try oil-based if you've been frustrated with the Amazon paper. See if oil-based works better for you. Now I have one more set of pencils here. These are Black Widows, and I think these are from the, oops, you know what? There we go. They're from the Monarch set. I've got Opal, Emerald, and Sky. I just love the way they name these pencils. I don't know how these will compare to the color, but these are really nice. Gosh, I'm sorry. I think these are wax based, but I'm not 100% positive. But let's see how the Monarchs do, Black Widows. So again, same thing. And this Monarch set is the only set I have from the Black Widows. And I will tell you, it's like more of a pastel set. And they're so pretty. I just love them. And sometimes I just like to open up my pencil case and look at them. They're just really, they're that pretty. I hope to get some more of these in the future. So again, these lay down, you can see the white speckles coming through here. So it's really, let's just, push down a little harder, put some elbow grease into this, put your back into it. Yeah. And then, and sometimes if you have a sharper point, that sharper point will help smooth out that texture too. Okay, so this is greenier than the other, or greener. I guess greener is a new word. Feel free to use that today in a sentence. This is greener than the other colors, but still pretty. I love aquas. The aqua family is my absolute favorite color family. Oops, there we go. Just coloring outside the lines. But again, you can see you're able to get that texture. So just press down a little harder. So I will say for pencils, the key is a couple of, at least 2, maybe 3 layers, and just keep layering over and over, and then push down to get rid of that white texture that's going to show through from the paper. Okay, so that would be pencils. I also have a couple of gel pens here. Oops, and my sticker is falling off. These are Towtree. Oh, here we go. Towtree that were recommended to me by, that's out of focus, sorry guys, by the very sweet Sherry Denowitz. And I've really liked these. I don't use them a ton, but I do like them. But gel pens, let's see if these bleed through. And so I'm just gonna kind of come in here, put this down, and these are sparkly. You gotta have sparkles. Okay. All right, so we've got that half of that done. And if I flip over the page, you can see that there is a little bit poking through. I think if you're probably a little more heavy-handed with these, you might put a piece of paper behind this page in case it does bleed through, but it's really nice. And you still get that really pretty sparkle that you can see when you move the paper around. All right, so that's going to be, oops, gel pencil, or gel pens and colored pencils. So next I have markers. So I'm gonna get a page here with bigger spaces so we can blend some markers. And I'm going to take a piece of that cardstock I showed you earlier, and I'm just gonna stick it behind this page, just like that. You only need one. If you're really heavy-handed and you're not sure what you need, go with 2. But I've found for me that 1 works just fine. So what I'm gonna do is try to color some of these little fan areas here. And I've got some Copics, let's see, BG 32, 34, and 13. So Aqua Mint, Horizon Green, and Mint Green. So we will try these real quick. And I'm just gonna show you how I blend these. All right, so BG 32 is the lightest. So I always start out with the lightest here. And the thing to remember about this paper, it's porous. So when you're using something like an alcohol marker, do you see how it's already bleeding outside the line? So you don't always want to color right up to the line like I'm doing here. Maybe color just shy of that line, and it will, the alcohol or ink will spread. Right there, I did it again. So you do have to be a little careful with that. Okay, and then here's the darkest color. So when you're blending, you can kind of flick the pen, and that flicking motion will just kind of blend it. And you can see here, now I'm putting down a lot more color, but that ink has to go somewhere, so it's gonna spread. So you can see that it's spreading. So that's one thing about this paper being porous, it is going to spread, so you have to be you have to color more carefully than I do. But for me, usually what I do is I end up coloring this whole section, and then I don't really worry about it too much. Like that. So then, and you know what? Honestly, at the end of the day, if you're happy with it, who cares if you go outside the lines? That's what I say. Who cares? It's not a contest. We're not judging each other. And if you are, shame on you. Okay, so there you go. So you can see you're getting that nice blended darker color here. And we'll go back, add some more of the medium color, just flicking. whatever. So you can see here. So you can still get nice, rich, blended colors with alcohol markers. Now let's look at the back of the page. Let me put my caps back on. Okay. If I look at the back of the page, yeah, look at that. It came through. And then you've even got some here on the cardstock, but it did not come through. Oops, it did not bleed through on the cardstock. So just, so there you go. And I think any kind of alcohol marker will work like that. I tend to like brush tips. I also have some Crayola markers here to show you guys, you know, how working with these would work on this kind of paper. So we can color in like one of these little spaces here. And I'm not sure, I haven't really tested the colors, so I might put these colors down in the wrong order. So just give me a little grace. So here, you see it's got more of a nib than a brush tip. And these are water-based, so you get a little bit of a streakier texture, I think, and maybe it's just how I color, or it could just be the markers, I don't know. Anyway, so you can see here, you can color with your Crayola markers. Wow, I'm doing a terrible job, guys. Okay, grade me on a curve. All right, here we go. So again, you can color, you can just blend it a little bit better, but these are going to be a little streakier. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Wow, that's actually super messy. Okay, but again, my point is, you can see here, it bled through the page, and we got some bleed through here also on the premium cardstock. So you can get good color, and again, I'm not real good with Crayola markers, so maybe somebody out there that's better at that can school me on it. But my point today is to show you that there really is a way to color successfully on Amazon paper and to get beautiful blends, even though the paper is thin. And you can do it with marker, you can do it with pencil, gel pen, and get a really nice result. And I hope that that helps you guys. I even saw one comment one time where I think one lady in a forum on social media said, like, I think maybe I said it earlier, but if it's on Amazon paper, she won't even buy the book. And that makes me sad because you're missing out on some really fantastic art by artists if you do that. So one way to get around that is to take, oh my gosh, I thought I had these pages saved somewhere. Oh, here they are. You can actually take your book and scan the pages and print them on paper. And that's what I've done here. So this is one of my designs, and this is out of my Lighthearted Mandalas to Go book, but I scanned it and I printed it on this paper. And a lot of the time, and I did that with this page that y'all have seen colored, I did it with this page. So a lot of the time when I'm coloring on my reels and I'm posting things that I've colored, it's, oops, that's upside down. Here you go. And this one, and again, this is on premium cardstock, but I've scanned it and printed it. And you can get, so if you really absolutely hate the paper and you cannot make it work for you, scan it on your printer and go get some nice 80-pound, either this really, this, like I said, this is premium presentation paper, or you can get this nice vellum, what is this called? Hang on, guys. There is a word for this. It is called, here we go, Spring Hill Vellum Bristol Cover. There you go. Now I've got it right. So for those of you that were cringing, there you go. But you can get that paper. I got that on Amazon. But you can print it on your own printer. And then that way you have the benefit of the beautiful design that you like and the really nice paper. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Please leave me any questions that you have or comments in the comment section below. Also, like and subscribe and share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. And thank you for watching. I hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye.